Welcome to the second video. This is the video with the prophetic update, in addition to the celestial signs for the coming weeks. So if we look at Torah calendar, let's be reminded that there was a delayed new moon sighting at the beginning of this month. So Torah calendar is one day ahead. If we go to the prophetic markers of today until like the coming 2 weeks, we're reminded that today is a commemoration of the sea splitting for the Israelites under Moses and their escape of the Egyptian army. The book of Jubilees, chapter 49, records when they crossed, namely after the Feast of Unleavened Bread. And on the 22nd of Nisan, in Paul's days, that was right after the Feast of Unleavened Bread also, Paul sailed from Philippi to Troas, where he arrived Nisan 26. And Nisan 22 is also the commemoration, according to rabbinical sources, of Isaac being circumcised after 8 days. So this is an 8th day typology, as well as Peter being freed from prison. April 5th is also noteworthy because it is 1290 days after the culmination of the Revelation 12 sign. And we find that in Daniel 12:11. It is the recording of Michael standing up. And a couple of years ago, I wrote an interpretation of those verses in Daniel 12. So Daniel's vision started at the time on Nisan 24, and there's also a reference made by the satanic elite and Michelle Obama being present at the Notre Dame fire, referring to this standing up of Michael. But I'm going to focus on the scriptures this time. So we see a visual rendition of Daniel's beautiful vision. And our brother Michael from Humble Seeker channel has made an amazing set of videos about the word and the vision the Lord has given him with regard to the timing and the nature of the rapture. And I'm going to include a link to his work in this video. We read in verses chapter 12. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. And they that shall be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, and they that turn many to righteousness as the stars forever and ever. So here also we find a reference to the wise in Christ. The wise who shall understand, and the reference to the 1290 days. And the counting was from the culmination of the Revelation 12 sign. So that is today. Today is also the day that the Israeli President Rivlin will meet with the representatives of all the elected parties to hear who they recommend to be given mandate to form the next government. And the rest of the process of the election process is listed over here as well. So also for Israel, today is an important day. In the heavens, we can see how the Kappa Serpentis, the meteor shower, peaks in Corona Borealis. That is the northern crown above serpents. And that is actually what the elite regard as the capstone of their pyramid in the heavens. And it's also the name giver of the coronavirus. And you can read more about that in the article I wrote about that previously. But we're going to see a visual of that and all the celestial signs afterward. So tomorrow there's a conjunction of the moon and Saturn representing Cronus and Satan in the right or in the goat portion of the constellation Capricorn. And one day later, there will be a conjunction of the moon and Jupiter, the king planet, in the same constellation, but then on the left side, on the fish portion of Capricorn. And the same day, Venus, the type of the beloved, crosses the ribbon of Pisces horizontal, the trodden down fish, in that constellation, and that represents the church which has been sent out. And the sun crosses that ribbon of Pisces on April the 8th. On the 23rd of Nisan, Laban learns that Jacob has fled from him. We read about that in Genesis 31, as well as the book of Jubilees. Laban starts to pursue Jacob. The 24th is a commemoration of Moses making the bitter waters at Marah turn sweet. And also, as I referred to before, the start of Daniel's vision at the Euphrates, and that is tied to the 1290 days from the Revelation 12 sign. The 25th of Nisan, Moses and his people arrived at Elim, where they discovered 12 springs of water. And the Egyptian representatives appeared, that's a little bit later in history, in the court of Alexander the Great, demanding the Jews pay restitution for all the Egyptian gold and silver they took along with them during the Exodus. So that story got a tail. 25 Nisan is also the commemoration of the beautiful second upper room gathering with Jesus. This time Thomas was present. Remember that 1 week prior, on the 17th of Nisan, in the evening portion, the 18th, that would be the 18th, that the Lord breathed on the disciples. So that was the onset of the church, the first infilling with the Spirit. But at that time, Thomas was not yet there. The 26th of Nisan is the commemoration of the death of Joshua, passing away at the age of 110 in the 28th year of his leadership. He was buried on his own estate in Timnath Serach in Mount Ephraim. So Joshua is a beautiful type of a bride who has been given the rightful inheritance. April 9th is also the day that the moon is at perihelion, which is closest to the sun. And it is the start of the Sabbath readings entitled Parashah Shemini. And if I read the word Shemini or Shemini, I cannot help but think of Dr. Mary. Anyway, meaning the 8th. And these, of course, are the required Torah readings instituted by the prophet and scribe Ezra. Today's reading was also the first reading of the Sabbath after Jesus' resurrection. It is called the Sabbath of Blessing, the last Sabbath before the new moon. The portion was also the one read after the week of priestly ordination. Remember, we covered that in the former set of videos. After Moses and Aaron interceded for the people, the glory of the Lord appeared in the tabernacle. So that is really, really promising. This Sabbath could foreshadow, therefore, a day of glorification of those who have been prepared unto priesthood, the bride. This was also the day the portion is read of the strange fire offering by Aaron's sons, Nadab and Abihu. We talked about that in a former set of videos. It's in this article as well. And they were judged because of their pride and presumption. And the Haftarah portion of these Torah readings are a like-minded judgment of Uzzah. He unlawfully touched the ark and was struck by God because of it. And David subsequently placed the ark in the tent of meeting in Jerusalem, at the formation of the Davidic covenant, of which Jesus, of course, is the rightful heir. The New Testament portion of the readings cover Jesus in his role as the believer's high priest. And then on April 10th, by the late evening, the sickle of Leo stands nearly vertical in the south, catching a lot of attention. Its bottom star is called Regulus, the king's star, the heart of Leo. And Leo itself is walking westward. The sickle forms his front leg, the chest, and the mane, and it's also, of course, the start of the onset of the harvest as well as judgment. And here is the reference to the channel of our brother Michael from Humble Seeker, who has been given and developed beautiful insight and understanding regarding the timing and nature of the bridal departure as well as the post-rapture harvest workers, which has blessed me greatly. And my studies are leading to a similar high watch, namely between April 10th and 13th. And we covered the spiritual preparation already in the first video, and I highly recommend you watch that. So on Nisan 29 and 30, Joshua meets the commander of the army of the Lord. The apparition of Jesus before his march on Jericho, starting IR 1, so the first day of the new month, the second month. He then was given kingly robes. We read about that in Joshua 5:6. So the conquest of Jericho, he was a leader under the direct command of Jesus in the kingly and priestly order of Melchizedek. The next reference as a celestial marker is April 12th, and there is a rapture high watch sign accompanying this reference. The moon bride will namely approach the wedding knot star El Risha in Pisces. That is the southern point where the two ribbons tied to Pisces, connected to Cetus, the sea monster, are tied together. And along with the sun and Venus. Venus at that time has turned to its evening star cycle that has started after the spring equinox. We covered that in the former videos. And in these two documents, I explain how Pisces, the upright and the trodden down fish, how they are a picture of the bride and the sent out church being set free by the Lord. Represented in Aries the lamb, because he holds his front paw on these ribbons. And what the underlying prophetic meaning is of that beautiful wedding knot star, because that wedding knot star is deeply tied to the red ribbon we also find in the story of the Tola worm in Rahab's red ribbon, so the outward manifestation of faith. But the red ribbon in the heavens on the ecliptic, I believe, is also a representation of the finish line in the heavens. And I hope this will be our finish line. But you can read in the articles why I believe that the ribbon in the heavens, why that is the source of what we still use in our ritual ribbon cuttings, as well as the red ribbon, which is crossed by racers in at the time of the finish. So this day, first the moon, and then after midnight, Venus will cross that upright fish ribbon in Pisces. That is the picture of the cutting free of the upright fish to be freed to swim to the northern part of the heavens. And that's where Cetus, the king, and Cassiopeia, the queen, are. So here you can see that scene of Aries to the left, holding its front paw on both ribbons of Pisces, the upright fish, the trodden down fish, and Cetus, the sea monster. And this upright fish sorry, is what is being crossed by both Venus and the moon that day. And here you see a rendition of Pisces. This is where the wedding knot star is. So both Venus and the moon will line up with that star, that connecting star, the wedding knot star in Pisces. And this is a really beautiful gift from my daughter. She designed an icon for the finish line and the red ribbon cutting, and I included it in the video. So there's a lot more to show about the prophetic markers and celestial signs for this high watch time frame in between April 10th and the 13th. So I hope to see you in the concluding portion of the third video.